every day. The God's with me, can't nobody be against me. I the world. I know God. I know the real God.
Wait a minute, Cassius.
I am the king of the world.
Hold it.
I'm pretty.
Hold it, you're not that pretty.
Gen Y, Gen X, Millennials, Generation Me, Generation Internet. You know who you are. You've been crushed, hit hard by this economy.
So if you're dealing with college debt, maybe you're even trying to move out of your parents' house or start a new business. Look, the only way you're going to be able to do that is to be able to produce and to get people to pay you what you're worth.
I'm fighting for your generation. I'm not counting you out. I believe in you. We're here to give young hustlers the advice and tools they need to succeed in the 21st century.
Hey, what's happening, man? My name is Jared Glant, at Jared Glant on Twitter, on Periscope. You know where to find me, man. Vice President for Grant Cardone, Mr. Grant Cardone. And this is Young Hustlers. Today is Thursday. It's noon East Coast Standard Time, and so that means I'm here bringing you tips and information you can use to get ahead, man, to shortcut the ride to success. Now, I don't claim to know everything. I'm not an expert. I'm not a pro. I'm a learner, man. I'm learning every single day. And fortunately, I got some great people to learn from. I get to be around guys like Grant every day, Robert, John, Andrea, Dina, the whole office here, the whole 10X office here at Cardone Enterprises. And that's what you really need to do, man. You need to figure out the people that you can learn from and accumulate knowledge, right, and information, because it'll take you wherever you want to go, man. But today we got a hot topic. We got a topic that is near and dear to my heart because it's something that I struggle with for a really long time and just recently have started really figuring it out, and is how to be disciplined. And this is like paramount for any young hustler. If you want to get ahead in life, if you want to be a millionaire by 30, you have to have discipline, right? It's the one characteristic I think that will make or break you when you're going through 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 25, 28. It's going to make or break you, man. Your ability to be disciplined in everything that you do. And so knowing this, it's like, well, how do you build discipline, right? It's this kind of like massive topic or idea that people, they struggle with, right? It's like, how do I be more disciplined in every area of my life? What areas do I need to focus on, right? And so that's really what the show's going to be about today, how to be more disciplined. So I want to start off by giving you the definition of discipline, at least the one I found, was it's the suppression of base desires and is usually understood to be synonymous with restraint and self-control. For me, discipline means forcing yourself to do something that you don't necessarily want to do. And I don't mean that like in a bad way, I mean it in a way like, hey, my initial urge, the easy thing to do is to go in and eat the piece of pizza. Or the easy thing to do is to sleep in. Or the easy thing to do is not make the phone call to the tough customer, the tough client. I mean forcing yourself to do the things that you don't want to do, that you know are the right things to do. To me, that's what discipline really means. And so I really just want to start by figuring out like, okay, hey, why is discipline important? You kind of got to start with the why, right? So why is discipline important? Number one, it's important because, you know, to be a young hustler, to get ahead early, to get out of the trap that everybody puts millennials into, you know, the disenfranchised, you know, the entitled, you know, all these nasty things that they label us. I mean, to get out of that, you have to exercise discipline. Now it's because there's a lot of sacrifices you have to make. I mean, the road that the hustler walks is a narrow road. I mean, I had to make a lot of sacrifices, in my journey, like becoming, getting where I am today, working for Grant. It requires doing the difficult thing, right? That's another reason you have to be disciplined, because becoming successful requires you to do the difficult thing. And I look at Grant every day, and the guy, he makes the difficult choices and does the difficult thing like every single day. And sometimes it just boggles my mind. I mean, this is a guy that he doesn't have to do it, right? He doesn't have to show up at the office. He doesn't have to do the Periscope streams. He doesn't have to do the mentions. I mean, he doesn't have to do any of that, but he still shows up and does it every day. And understanding that truthfully, like, discipline is the thing that the 1%, understand better than anything. Right? The discipline that the 99% of people can't get their head wrapped around is what makes the difference between, surviving in the middle of the pack or thriving way far ahead. And so I've got some tips today on how you can actually be more disciplined, right? In everything that you do, right? Not just, waking up early for the gym. Like that's an easy one, right? Like the alarm clock goes off at 5:30, and 5 out of 5 mornings, I'm like, man, I'd rather just go back to sleep. But you got to force yourself to do it. And so I've got a 3-step plan, to build more discipline. Number 1, and I'll dig into each of these in a little bit here. Number 1, be more aware. Number 2, be consistent. And number 3, you got to be relentless with it. Thanks for everybody who's chatting already. Chad Pittinger, Frank the Tank, Nancy Reinhardt, Andre 4000. Okay, I get it, kind of like the Andre 3000 thing. RCA 15, thanks for chatting online. If you guys want to call in, the number is 305-865-8668. We're going to try to fix your discipline, your discipline skills today. Or you can submit your questions via the chat below here. So look, what are some things that you can be more disciplined about? Number 1, first and foremost, your attitude. You have to be disciplined to have a good attitude, right? There's a lot of things that happen that can change your attitude, that can change the course of your day. The other day, my dog shit all over the floor in the morning before I was trying to come to work. I mean, it was a mess. He's sick. He's been sick for like a month. Dude, he messed we had to throw the carpet out, right? Because I was dumb and I was not disciplined and bought a carpet that looked cool instead of that was functional. And it was impossible to clean up, so I had to throw it out. But it ruined my attitude, so I had to snap myself out of it on the way into work. And when we get back, we're going to dig into some more things that you need to focus on being more disciplined with.
If you're interested in becoming an internet marketer, network marketer, internet entrepreneur, or business owner, pay attention to this offer. CPA, known as Cost Per Action, promotes offers to top companies via paid traffic platforms. Imagine positioning yourself as the dominant player in your industry all over the internet, with people seeking you out for job opportunities, your product, and your service, while increasing your income to over 6 figures in 9 months. The Millionaire Mastermind will show you how. Learn through us with step-by-step digital instructional programs, free weekly webinars, and 24/7 customer support. The Millionaire Mastermind is the go-to expert for all resources and training to thrive in this industry. And it all starts with our free 6 Figures to 9 Months webinar. Sign up for your free 6 Figures in 9 Months webinar at themillionairemastermind.com/6 figures. That's themillionairemastermind.com/6 figures. Learn to sell, and you can have everything you want in business and in life. New York Times best-selling author and international sales and business expert Grant Cardone is now releasing a never-before-seen recording of the Monterrey, Mexico Sell or Be Sold seminar. Thousands were in attendance for this event and paid over $800 per ticket, and we are releasing it to you today for only $199 as an on-demand video seminar. When you invest today, you also receive the ultimate Sell or Be Sold package, including the Axiom Gold Award-winning Sell or Be Sold hardcover book, the Sell or Be Sold MP3 with over 12 hours of content, the digital video quick read book for your on-the-go needs with access to 21 exclusive videos, the massive Sell or Be Sold course workbook to solidify your entrepreneurial growth, and the companion trainer's manual for the course workbook to help your team master the sales process. Get access right now at grantcardone.com/Sell or Be Sold. That's grantcardone.com/Sell or Be Sold.
right. I don't know if you guys just saw that coming in here, but this is Black November, man. We're getting close to the end of the year. This is when we start just getting crazy. We start getting just freaking insane here in the membrane. And we've got a great deal going right now. Everything in the store online right now is 40% off. All you got to do is enter the promo code Mr. Black. Mr. Black, like in Black November, right? So make sure you check that out, okay? But today we're talking about discipline, right? The suppression of base desires, something that's usually understood to be synonymous with restraint and self-control. So let's identify the areas that we need to exercise discipline. Before the break, I talked about attitude, right? Your attitude will determine everything that happens throughout the course of your day. I had that little unexpected thing in the morning. Dude, my freaking morning was ruined, right? I literally in the drive, I was like, okay, I got to get my head right. You know, I was yelling at Sandy because the dog crapped on the carpet and I was going to be late and she couldn't cook me breakfast and I couldn't do my little thing, you know, in the morning. Completely threw me off. But you got to be able to make the decision, the choice, because it really is a choice, to go from frustrated, upset to, okay, hey, look, clean slate, let's rock, let's roll, let's be productive today, and let's make an impact for the better, of course. Number 2, your diet and exercise. As you study successful people, like the one thing that you'll kind of see consistent is like, you know, to have the levels of energy to work the 12-hour days or the 14-hour days or the 18-hour days. I mean, some of these highly successful people, man, they're just like from like before the sun's up till midnight. I mean, they're just grinding it out, right? And in order to do that, you got to take care of yourself, man. You know, if I don't work out in the morning, I know in the afternoon I always get tired. Right? I'm a little groggy getting my day started, and then I start getting tired at the end of the day. You know, if I'm not eating good food, you know, when we're on the road traveling and I can't control like the food that's coming in and, you know, I get a menu in front of me, man, I'll tell you some discipline you can exercise if you have your attention on eating. Don't even open the menu. Leave the menu closed, right? Grant, this is something I learned from Grant. He doesn't look at the menu, he's just going to say, hey, look, give me a piece of protein, give me a steak, give me a piece of chicken, give me some vegetables. You know, whatever you guys got to do, whatever you want to call that on your menu, that's fine. Give me a chicken breast and some vegetables. Give me a steak and some vegetables. Keep it clean, right? And you got to exercise discipline, especially when you open that up and you see that truffle mac and cheese, right? You know what I'm talking about, the truffle mac and cheese or the baked potato all loaded up with sour cream and butter, right? To exercise discipline, right? When the alarm goes off, pop out of bed. You know, this morning, alarm goes off. I turn over to Sandy. I'm like, babe, you just got to jump out of bed right now. Threw the blankets off. I start yelling. I start clapping. Out of bed, out of bed, out of bed. Ah! She was kind of freaked out about that. But you got to do that, man. You got to make the decision to just pop out. Number 3, the friends that you hang out with. This is a big one. You got to have discipline, right? The road of the young hustler, like we said, it's a narrow path. Sometimes there's not room for a lot of people, you know? Especially people that bring you down, that don't bring you closer to your goals. I got to tell you, I've been through periods where I was lonely, right? I was lonely because I didn't have a lot of friends because of what I had my attention on. You know, maybe if you're there right now, I'm just telling you, like, you're doing the right thing, you know? It all works out in the long run, you know? But it's more important that you move closer to your goals than you have a lot of friends at this point, you know? And I don't know how that comes off and how that sounds, but it's the truth, you know? Sometimes people just distract you from what you're trying to do, right? So if you got to be disciplined when you're lonely, or hey, you know, I'm single and I got to go out and meet a girl, or I got to go out and meet a guy. But that requires that you go out, right? It requires that you go out. You're coming off your game. You take your nose out of a book and you start, you know, you're drinking a beer or something. You know, I mean, you got to be disciplined in those periods of time, right? Especially if you want to really crack it. Now, and this may not be the story for everybody. You may be the unicorn that can go out to the bar at night and then wake up and be productive. But I mean, there are very few people that I know that can be highly effective and live that kind of lifestyle. So, you know, if you have friends that are constantly asking you to go out and taking you out and, you know, everybody's getting, you know, plastered, I mean, it's probably not going to be productive in getting you closer to where you want to go. And it requires discipline to say no. It requires discipline, especially if it's family. Family, you know, that aren't in alignment with where you want to go. You know, Grant always says, he's like, man, you know, don't take money advice from people that aren't where you want to be, right? You know, the people that are telling you too much probably aren't doing enough themselves. The people that are trying to give you money advice, they may not have money, right? So be aware of the people that you have around you, right? The choices that you make, right? This is a big one. A lot of people in our group, right? I was a victim of this, right? I was guilty of this. I wasn't a victim because I was making the decision to do it, man. I was making bad choices. I was making choices for the short term, for today. What's going to make me feel good now, right? Instead of, hey, what are the implications of this long term, right? And it requires discipline to be able to do that. The easy thing to do is to take, hey, I want to do this now because it feels good now. It seems like the right thing now, and then later you're like, oh man, what was I thinking, man? The clothes that you bought, or the watch that you bought, or the trip that you went on that you probably shouldn't have went on because you couldn't quite afford it, right? Like, be aware of these decisions that you're making, man. And if you want to be more disciplined, you have to increase your awareness, right? Go back down to the 3 things, right? Number 1, be more aware. Number 2, be consistent with it. And number 3, you got to be relentless with this. The activity that you take, right? Do you want to have $100 hustle or do you want to have $100 million hustle? You know, when you show up, when guys walk through that door every day, they're making the decision. Am I having $100 hustle today or am I having $100 million hustle today? $100 million. $100 million. $100 million, $100 million. Then I came from the ghetto. Y'all know that song? No. So look, you got to make $100 million hustle decisions. You got to make as many phone calls as you possibly can. You got to knock as many doors as you can possibly can. You got to follow up like a freaking maniac, right? You got to be willing to push people to the edge and get people upset at you, you know? I was walking out, Kyle, one of the new guys here in the office, doing a great job. You know, he'd never really made cold calls on the phone before. Dude, he is just pounding phone calls out. And man, I see, you know, when people you know, they freaking jump at him, you know, stop calling me. You know, he had this guy that was just yelling at him. Dude, he handled it. He was cool. He's like, man, well, this guy ain't a deal. And then he continued to move on, right? He didn't let it ruin his day. He jumped right back into the activity. He was disciplined with his actions, right? Number 6, personal development. This is a huge one, right? If you want to move and go big places, you got to be willing to learn, right? You have to look outside of your sphere for information. Now, it might be a great opportunity for you to take us up on our 40% off deal here. You know, maybe if you've been conscious of like, man, you know, hey, I don't have a lot of money right now, but, you know, I want to make more money. I watch Jared on the Young Hustlers, or I watch Grant on the YouTube thing, or whatever. I mean, you need some solid information. So if, you know, you need to be disciplined with your personal development, check out that 40% off right now. The promo code's going to be Mr. Black. Number 7, your thoughts and your words. Dude, you gotta be aware of this, right? The things that you're thinking in your head, you gotta be disciplined with that. You can't be thinking about failure. You can't be thinking, what if this happens? You can't be scared, right? You've got to be able to freaking push all in, man. You gotta clean this up here, right? In between your ears, right? And when we get back, I'm gonna give you the last tip. We're gonna circle back through and we're gonna get to a couple of these callers here on Young Hustlers.
Owning a home has many elements that have to be looked after. One of the most important elements is comfort, and your heating and air conditioning is priority. That's why we stop at nothing to provide on-time service and expertise for all of your heating and cooling needs. We are the comfort experts. We have the solution for all of your trickiest heating and air conditioning needs. That's why we brought you our show, The Comfort Experts. Every week we bring you tips and tricks to improve your home and bring you peace of mind with our quality service tips for home heating and air conditioning maintenance. Visit onehouраircarolinas.com to tune into our weekly updates and services for your home improvement. That's onehouraircarolinas.com today. Ways to raise funds to increase your local impact. If you're a nonprofit, church, civic group, school, or individual, Funds to Org's Shoe Drive fundraiser helps your cause raise funds while supporting micro enterprises in developing nations. Funds to Org's provides at no charge the tools you need to create a successful no-calorie fundraising event. Just engage your supporters to collect gently worn, used, and new shoes. We'll transport the collected shoes and issue a check back to you within 48 hours of processing. Sign up now at fundstoorgs.com. That's fundstoorgs.com. Are you looking?
All right, before I jump on this with Tyler, who's been holding patiently on the phone, dude, Chad Pittenger just commented here on the feed here. He goes, I'm not single. People ask me why I'm single. He goes, I'm not single. I'm in a relationship with my goals, man. Dude, that is strong, man. I love that, Chad. Thanks for sharing that. Let's go to Tyler on the phone right now. Tyler from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey, Mr. Glenn, how are you doing?
What's going on, Big T?
How we doing?
We doing good, man. We doing good. Hey, where do you need to be more disciplined?
Where do I need to be more disciplined? I would say definitely being more confident in making changes and just believing more in myself
Yep.
and what I can do.
Love that, man. What do you do for work?
Well, actually, I've been a cosmetologist for 3 years.
Okay.
I'm actually moving to Miami, and I want to actually go. I want to transition into sales, actually.
Okay.
So that's something new I'm taking on. But yeah, I'm actually moving to Miami. I'm 21 years old. So what you guys are doing for millennials are awesome.
Love that, man. Thanks for that. Did you have a question?
I didn't have a question. I was just calling in. I was just seeing, kind of if y'all had anything to ask me or whatever.
Yeah, man. Well, look, I mean, moving down here, just, be disciplined with your activity.
I do have a question.
Okay, all right.
If I want to go into sales and I'm 21 years old and I'm not experienced in sales or on calls, what is your best advice for me to do?
Okay, so look, and thanks for the call, Tyler. I appreciate that. So basically, what you have to look at, sales is a skill, right? It's a skill that's developed. If I told you, hey man, you need to learn how to play the piano in 6 months, or hey, you need to learn how to play golf in 6 months, what would you do? You would probably put a lot of attention on practicing every single day. You'd get on the piano every day. You'd get to the driving range every single day, right? If you want to become a salesperson, you need to focus on it like that. You need to be disciplined in how you're practicing and refining that skill. So over and over and over again, you got the repetition. Because really, consistency, what we talked about in one of these 3 ways to build more discipline, consistency, having the same thing happening every day, that builds that muscle, right? And that muscle to be disciplined. So what I would tell you, man, you just got to start digging in and training every single day, like you were trying to become a professional athlete. Hey, man, you got to join the NFL. You got tryouts for the NFL in 6 months, and you got to be game ready. What are you going to do? Approach learning how to sell like that, and you'll be good to go. Let's go to Chandra from California. Chandra, what's happening? Chandra, you there?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on?
I just logged in for listening in.
What was that?
Okay. I called for just listening in.
You called from where?
For listening.
Lebanese? Lebanon?
You're from Lebanon? All right, yeah, all right. Maybe jump in the comments here and we can communicate via text. So look, the 8th thing that you need to be disciplined about is your dress and your attire, especially if you want to be successful, man. The way that you're dressed has a big impact on your attitude, on your mood, on other people's perception of you. I'll give you an example. Grant and I were in Scottsdale this last week, and we went in on Monday. Talk about disciplined action, little tangent here. Okay, disciplined action. We have one meeting on Tuesday morning. It's a gig that Grant got paid for to go out and speak to a massive audience, 400 people. Everybody was in there with millionaire plus. I mean, it was very high level, and he freaking just lit them up. But Grant knows he's got this trip on the calendar because he's disciplined with his action, right? That $100 million hustle. He says, Jared, load me up. Load me up Monday afternoon. Get me one appointment after we do the morning meeting on Tuesday before we fly back out. Dude, he ended up doing 5 meetings in a period of less than 24 hours. The first meeting that we went to was a company, $100 million hustle. First company that we went to was a company called Stormwind. Okay, these guys do IT training, right? They make it cool, right? IT training, you think snooze fest. These guys actually make it cool. Definitely check them out, stormwind.com. But when we walked into this office, dude, the people there, I mean, suited up, sharp. We were talking to Corey, the guy that runs the deal there, and he was like, dude, people got the opportunity to make $200,000 or $300,000 a year here. They dress like it. They're required to dress like it. And when you walk into that environment, I'm like, man, dude, I'm in a group of professional people. People who are disciplined about the way that they show up, about their environment, about the way that they dress, about their attitudes. They got music playing. I mean, dude, it's an environment where you're like, man, I want to get on the phone right now. Shout out to those guys because it was an unbelievable group, and we're looking forward to doing something with them. But look, you got to be disciplined about the way that you dress, right? You got to look the part, right? How am I looking today? Huh? Right? I got my little check pants on, you know? So look, 3 ways that you can build more discipline in all of these areas, okay? The first thing that you have to do is you have to be aware, right? You have to be aware, you have to have constant attention, you have to have constant focus on the thing that you want to become more disciplined in, right? Let's start with, the gym maybe, okay? You got to wake up every morning, I got to go to the gym, I got to go to the gym, I got to get to the gym. No snooze button, hashtag no snooze crew if you guys are following me on the hashtag no snooze crew. But you gotta be aware of it, right? Throughout the day. Like if you got goals, if you want to make a ton of money, you need to be aware of it. Like on an ongoing basis. It has to be consistent. And that number 2 is it has to be consistent. You have to do it on a regular basis because consistency will build that discipline. It'll build that muscle up, right? So you've got to be aware of it, you've got to be consistent with it, and you have to be relentless. You have to be completely not unreasonable, no excuses. This is the only way it's going to be, especially when you don't want to do it. I mean, that's the differentiator between the average and the successful, is doing the hardest thing you could possibly think of, even when you don't want to do it. And so, like when you're trying to figure out, like let's just take making phone calls, for example. Let's say you, at the end of this, what you should do is you should write out a list of everything that you want to be more disciplined with, right? I gave you a list of 8 things there. Attitude, diet and exercise, the friends you keep, your environment, the choices that you make, the actions that you take, your personal development, your thoughts, the things you say, and then your dress and attire. There's a list of 8, you know, those are just 8 that I thought of. Your list of 8 could be totally different, right? But pick those top 5, top 10 things that you know you need to be more disciplined in, okay? Don't tackle the whole list at the same time, okay? You might be able to handle that. I can't. Like for me, it didn't work, right? So what I had to do is I got to go after each one of these until the skill is set, right? So I'm going to go after my attitude. Hey, what can I do to have a better attitude on a daily basis? Man, dude, I want to think about my goals. I want to have signs up around me. Be positive. Success is your duty. I had on my window where I used to make in our LA office. We had a window that overlooked the Hollywood Hills, and on the window I wrote, "Don't be a little bitch." Right? Every single day, man. I didn't want to be a bitch. I didn't want to bitch out on the call. I didn't want to bitch out with the customer. I wanted to ask the hard question. So I had that right in front of me. I wanted to be more aware so that I could have more control over it, right? Diet and exercise, right? Maybe that's the next thing. Okay, so you get the attitude locked in. You've been jamming on the attitude thing for 2, 3, 4 weeks. Okay, and then you move into diet. Now, if you don't work out, the first time you try to go to exercise, tell me it's not like, oh man, this is hard, and then you get sore and you're like, oh man, and then the next morning comes, you're rolling around in bed, the alarm going off. You hadn't even stepped foot out of the bed and it already hurts, right? Dude, you got to be disciplined to throw one foot out, the next foot out, and get your ass up out of bed, right? And then you got to do it the next day and the next day. And after 2 or 3 weeks, tell me it ain't easier. You start waking up before the alarm goes off, right? Because you've built that discipline. The consistency has built discipline for you, okay? So, I mean, like, look, at the end of the day, you got to figure out what those things are for you that you need to be more disciplined in, but I can guarantee you that discipline in your life will have a large, large effect on how successful you end up becoming. And it's not, and the things may change, the list may change. That's why it's so important to get this process in now. And this really is a process. It's something that you can look at, and it's something that you can implement with where you're at right now. So that, you know, at 26 years old, I've got one set of things I need to be more disciplined with, right? You know, it was being disciplined, maybe not smoking weed, you know? Before I smoked a lot of weed, you know? I had to be disciplined to get off of it. I had to stop one day at a time. First day, hey, done with this. Second day, not going back. Third day, it's in the rearview mirror. 4th day, 5th day, 6th day, it's gone. I built the muscle where it wasn't an issue. You know, 30, okay, hey, now what can I do to go from 250 to 500? a year? What can I do? What can I do every day? Where do I need to be thinking, right? When you're 35, it may change. When you're 40, it may change. When you're 50, it may change. But when I look at a guy like Grant, right, who's extremely successful, dude, he's already got all the discipline built in for all the things that we're trying to do right now, right? And now he's disciplined for even bigger goals. How do I get to $1 billion in real estate? I want to be a billionaire. How do I get there? So look, this discipline thing will carry with you. You'll carry it your entire life. That's why it's so important to get it built in now, right? So it starts with being aware. Second thing you need to do is be consistent. And then the third thing you need to do is you need to be freaking relentless with it. Unreasonable, no exceptions, and be unwavering in your pursuit to be more disciplined with everything you do every day. So look, that's my message. I hope it was impactful for you. A lot of people chatting on the deal there. John, thanks for showing up. Saeed, Salestopia, Kristaps, Keith Dixon, Nancy Reinhart, Mohammed Manzoor, Jessica Wardell, Chad Pittenger. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by the show today. GrantCardoneTV.com/Young Hustlers. We're here every single Thursday at noon East Coast Standard Time to bring you a little tip. Right? If you want to tune in a little earlier in the morning, I got a tip from the whip that I do on Periscope. If you go on Twitter and just hashtag tip from the whip, you can find my replays there. But look, this is all about providing a vehicle for you to get more information, get connected with people who are on the same line as you so that you can have better people around you, be more disciplined with the people around you. Hey, and you know what? You need to be more disciplined with your personal development. So go buy GrantCardone.com. The entire store is 40% off. Promo code is Mr. Black. And remember, the only ones that condemn the hustle are the ones who've already given up on the hustle themselves. We'll see you next week, guys.
If you want success in business and in life, you must learn to sell. It's a way of life. You learn to produce outcomes.